in my perspective, it was like one day you said, all right, Sheila, I'm out. I'm moving to a different apartment.
Mhm.
And she left me with this 3-bedroom apartment that I couldn't afford.
Mhm.
And we were still in the middle of our lease. And
Mhm.
I was just like, what the heck just happened?
All right. Hey, listeners, how's it going? We're back with another episode for Divinely Different. I'm so excited for this episode. It's a little different. I'm not interviewing a parent today. I'm with my best friend, Sheila, and we are going to kind of talk about a really important subject today, friendship. We're going to dive in deep into it. So I'm excited for you guys to be a part of this episode, and I'm excited for you to meet Sheila.
Hello, everyone.
Yay, this
You're
is exciting.
Sideways.
Oh, I'm sideways. Hi, everybody. Okay, so Sheila is actually the one that kind of came up with the idea for this podcast episode.
Yeah.
And we think that it's a very important topic. I think it's a topic that people struggle with and kind of need a little bit of guidance sometimes, or just support and perspective.
Yeah.
So I feel like that's what we're going to try.
Yeah. And the reason I wanted to talk about this for support and perspective for sure, but also because you just don't realize like what you're missing until you experience it, you know?
That's true.
Like
that's very true.
Friendship over our lives,
Yeah.
not just between you and I, but in general.
Yeah.
Friendships, as you grow older, they change, they morph.
Right.
And at this point of our lives, I feel like we're all tied into like our families and everything, and you just live your own path, and it's important to know who you're interacting with.
Very true. Very true. Okay, well, let's jump into it.
Yeah.
Okay, so Sheila and I have been friends for a very long time. I don't know how many years, so she's about to tell you.
I think it's like 19, 20, 19 years.
Definitely not that old. I think that's wrong. Okay, so 19 or 20. So yeah, how do we meet? Let's start that.
Well, we met in middle school.
So
that ages us a little bit, but not, I mean, maybe that aids in the timeline.
Met in middle school.
You were a bully.
Oh.
Yeah, we're just throwing them.
Good.
Yeah.
Gosh.
I moved to town and Nika decided that she didn't like me because I was the new girl and the attention was off of her and onto me for a little bit. That's what it was.
Listen, Linda. Listen, I think the first reason why I wasn't fond of Sheila is because Sheila actually has some family members that were my family members.
Oh, that's true. I forget about that.
And so when they came to town, those family members definitely gave them some attention. And I'm like, whoa, hold on a second.
Not there.
Yeah, you're my cousin, not her cousin. You're my aunt, not her aunt. You're my uncle. That's what it was.
That's true.
So that was the first.
I just thought, all the boys weren't giving you attention.
Yeah, the
anymore,
boys.
So they were.
The boys did not give me attention.
A small amount of time.
It was lame. But yes, that would be the second reason I wasn't very fond of her.
Yes.
The boys did not like me as much anymore at all.
But we were also in middle school and young and dumb. But I think we only didn't like each other because we didn't really know each other.
Right.
For like a year maybe or less.
Yeah, it wasn't very long.
Yeah.
A lot of these memories are very fuzzy. So if it seems a little odd, that is why. Because some of it I'm like, I don't know, Sheila. So anyways, but yeah, so that's kind of how we met. And then we definitely formed a friendship, a very fun, rebellious friendship.
I plead the fifth.
To Kim and Priscilla, if you listen to this episode, sorry in advance.
And you already know, it's fine.
Yeah, it's fine. So yeah, we formed a pretty good friendship as far as for that season in our lives. I will say, it was definitely centered around partying, having a good time.
We were
living our best lives as teenagers.
Yeah.
It was good. It was a good time.
Yeah, I would say our peak of our friendship, we were very good friends, like freshman year, my 8th grade year.
And then I actually had to move.
Yes. And then you moved. And I feel like it actually made our friendship grow when you moved. Because we had more quality time. We planned out weekends and
I didn't really
I
think
would come
about
to
that.
Salina a lot.
Yeah, a lot.
I don't know if we're supposed to say town names.
No, it's okay. People know where I'm located.
Okay.
Hunt me down if you want. So yeah, I had to move to Salina, and like she said, I didn't really notice that till she said it, but yeah, the friendship definitely grew.
Yeah. And we just had more experiences and stuff where we had to lean on each other more in those moments in that time of our life,
Very true.
Because we were getting into trouble and we had to get our lies straight.
I don't know about that.
No,
I plead the fifth.
We're honest.
Yes, we are. We got into lots of trouble. Oh man, good times.
But
and then kind of fast forward, we definitely had Sheila calls it a hiatus. I like to use that word. I don't. I call it a breakup, but she says hiatus.
I can say breakup too.
Yeah, you do. We did have a breakup.
Sorry, I want to be closer to you, but not closer to you at the same time.
Okay.
Yes, we had a breakup. So we went to college together.
Yes.
For a little while.
Which is very important part of the story.
Mm-hmm.
Go ahead.
So we went to college together.
Yes.
We lived together.
Which our parents advised us not to.
Yep.
And I will advise anyone else out there, probably shouldn't do it if you're
in that stage of life, for sure.
Yes, in that stage of life.
Yeah.
There you go. That's perfect.
Because I live with one of my best friends now, and it's
totally, yes.
It's different.
Yes.
But we're grown. We're mature.
Different mindsets in the
Yeah.
Yep.
So living together didn't turn out well.
Not at all.
And for multiple reasons, but I like, to sum it up, I just think we were in different places in our life.
Definitely in different places. And I was just I had a lot that went on while we were living together. I lost my uncle while we were living together, and that was really, really tough for me. And I was not good about talking about it.
No, I had no idea how tough it was for you.
Sheila, nobody did.
Idea.
I didn't share it with anybody. I just kind of tried to put a tough face on and powerhouse it.
Yeah.
But instead, what I ended up doing was just kind of pushing people away. So yeah, that was a really, really dark time for me, definitely.
And I didn't.
And I was a single mom.
Years later.
Yeah.
Years later.
I didn't explain.
Like, oh, that makes sense.
I wasn't mature enough to explain it.
Yeah.
And I was a single mommy. Yeah. So that presented some challenges too. But yeah there's multiple reasons.
Like we were both in college. I had a full-time job, and just paying rent and doing all of that was really hard on me. And so I was gone like 24/7. And I think that affected our friendship too, because you had expectation about what it should be. And then I was like, I'm just trying to like help you like pay rent, and I still have to go to school and class or work. And
I think what made it probably really hard, one of the things that made it really hard, was Sheila was at a point in her life that I was still like party mode. I wanted to have a good time. I wanted to still be on that path. And Sheila was kind of growing out of that. And that was hard for me, because then the friends that she started to kind of attract, I wasn't really I was kind of jealous.
That was very well put.
Yeah. I wasn't fond. I was jealous, hurt my feelings, that type of thing. But I also wasn't willing to kind of make a change myself. I just wasn't ready
and
at
we
that
weren't
time.
willing to talk about it either.
We didn't talk at all.
Those hard conversations of like, we really didn't talk at all.
We really didn't.
Together. I had no idea what was going on in her life. She had no idea what was going on in mine. I distinctly remember a time in my life where one of my parents had a scary health thing happening, and I was like bawling on the couch, and you had a friend over, and you're like, Sheila, what is going on? I was like, I don't want to talk to you about it. And then I finally opened up, and like the floodgates open, and I remember distinctly that moment, because that is probably when I realized we don't talk.
Yeah.
And I was like, this person that used to be my best friend, I feel so far from, that I can't even tell her what's happening and what's making me like bawl my eyes out on the couch that we share, Yeah.
Wow.
So that was my realization on that.
I don't know. And the sad thing is, coming from my perspective, I don't think I had a realization until that hiatus. I didn't sit there and say, wow, like we don't talk about anything, nor did I care to talk about anything.
Right.
Because it was hard, it was uncomfortable, and I didn't like feeling uncomfortable, even with my best friend, which sounds silly, but when you're in a certain season of life and you have a certain mindset, I mean, it really, so
it's different. It's crazy how far we've come.
It's really crazy. Super crazy.
So that was that time in our life.
Yeah.
And then do we want to tell our different perspectives on how our hiatus, our breakup came to be?
Yeah, let's talk about the hiatus.
You want to go first or you want me to?
No, go ahead.
Okay. So I was dating a boy at the time. He was my longtime boyfriend. We had been dating since high school. This was our sophomore year of college, or my sophomore year of college at that point. And so I've been dating him for like 4 years. And she knew this when we lived together, but it was a rocky relationship. We're not together now. There's reasons. But in my eyes, I was just living my best life. She was living her best life. And we just kept rubbing up against each other in a wrong way. I don't know how to say that better, but
no,
like
I get what you're saying.
Yeah.
Not literally.
No. Very distant. But we didn't talk about anything. So we never knew what was bothering each other. We didn't put any effort into our friendship at that moment. We were just doing life.
Yep.
And it's hard too, being a roommate to a single mother and being in the stage of life where I'm 19 years old. I don't know anything about, I don't know much about being a mother or raising a child, a toddler, and what that all entails, and trying to go to school at the same time and maintain a social life, all that kind of stuff. I just was oblivious to. So I'm just in my own little world thinking that things are as good as they can be. And then I don't know if it was like one day, I can't remember, or if it was just like a buildup. I don't remember.
I think on my part, it was a buildup, but how I presented it, it was like all of a sudden, where the heck did that come from?
You had voiced some concerns about my boyfriend. I knew you didn't like him. A lot of people didn't like him. I didn't listen to anybody. I was like, I'm doing me. I don't care what you guys think.
Live and learn.
Yeah. And I didn't learn for several more years after that, but
no judgment here. Been there, done that.
Yeah. So in my perspective, it was like one day you said, all right, Sheila, I'm out. I'm moving to a different apartment. And the awkward thing was it was just right across the courtyard.
It literally, I really didn't move that far. Like we're going to still technically be neighbors.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And she left me with this 2-bedroom apartment that I couldn't afford.
3.
Was it a 3-bedroom?
Yeah. Kyson had his own room.
Oh, I didn't realize. So a 3-bedroom apartment that I couldn't afford. And we were still in the middle of our lease. And I was just like, what the heck just happened? And in my perspective, I'm like, okay, we're just 2 different people. I'm on this different path.
Right.
I didn't live the same lifestyle. I was busy. She had voiced other concerns every once in a while. But it was about like dishes and vacuuming.
Cleaning, y'all. Yeah. Cleaning. Like and I love my roommates, but I've had a couple, and the cleaning, I used to go crazy, you guys.
Especially with Tyson like crawling around on the floor. I remember you're like, he could eat anything you put down.
I was very anal about the cleaning. It was bad.
I thought it was just about that type of stuff. I was like, okay, well, you just don't like me as a roommate. So, and I was just left so confused.
Right. Oh, I can imagine.
Yeah. And so I had to find my own apartment and like 1 bedroom. It all worked out. It was fine. But it was a very troubling moment in my life because I don't remember where we were at in school or if it was like the end of the year or middle of the year. I can't remember any of that, but
I can't either.
It was stressful for both of us, I'm sure. And on my side, like I even remember going into your new apartment and being like, do you need any help like unpacking or moving boxes or whatever? And you did not want anything to do with me. And so I just kind of took that as, okay, I guess we're done.
Yeah.
And I left you be. Like I just distanced myself.
Literally left me be.
Yeah.
I did not reach out.
Not at all.
Past that point.
Nope.
At all.
Because I kind of took the sign and I was like, all right, I guess God has other plans for our friendship, you know? And, I can't think about that moment too much because
I know. I was just thinking the same thing.
But that was my side of things. And then I just continued living my life for, I think the next 3 years we were broken up.
Yep.
So,
okay. I guess it's my perspective. So my perspective was, no, I did not like her boyfriend for several reasons. Like she said, lots of people didn't. He was not everyone's favorite person. So I did not like the way he presented himself as a man, how he treated her and how he treated women in general. I did not like his perspectives. I didn't agree with it. So here I am, a single mom with a boy. So I have a boy, I have Kyson. And so my perspective was, even though I don't like Chris, like, what can I do about it? Like, this is your love life. This is your life.
You're name dropping right now?
Oh, sorry, Chris. Sorry, not sorry. Don't watch this episode. Wasn't supposed to do that, y'all. Oh, well, there's tons of Chris's out there.
That's true. I've dated 3. It's fine. You don't know which one it is.
You don't know. Anyways, so it's already out there. So anyways, I was just kind of trying to I was trying not to intervene, but on the inside, I was angry. I was like, are you stupid? Like, do you not see how when I have a friend, I'm very passionate, especially in the relationship department, because I've been through so much crap as far as relationships. Like, I've been through the scumminess. Yeah. So it was hard for me to set my selfish feelings aside in that moment.
Well, and you're just a good judge of character. Like, if we're looking back, I know hindsight's 2020, but even now you're a good judge of character. And so I think that was just, even though you weren't in the healthiest of times in your life, that is still part of who you are.
Right. And which I didn't realize that. Honestly, I didn't realize that in the moment either. I haven't realized that until I've gotten older. So,
well, and I didn't want to take your advice anyway. So
she didn't care. She was doing living her best life. So I just bottled stuff with Sheila. Like, I bottled when I was angry. I bottled when I wanted her to clean, but I didn't want to ask her. Mm-hmm. I bottled that kind of stuff up, whether it was silly or it was drastic. So when it came time, Chris was always, he was frequently around, and I didn't really ever fight it. I just stayed mad inside. If he was around, I was not in a good mood. I wasn't really present. I didn't want to be a part of anything. It just wasn't right. I wasn't interested.
And in my eyes, I was like, he's my boyfriend. And you had boyfriends.
Right.
So why can't I have my boyfriend at our house? Why are you in such a bad mood?
And that's why I actually was like, you cannot speak up and say anything, because yes, you have your boys in and out of here, whatever you want to do. So no, I was like, I'm not speaking up, whether I'm angry or not. I did probably mention some things here and there, but I never tried to make it into a big thing. I just kind of,
I would agree with that,
tried to move forward.
Yeah.
So anyways, here I am raising Kyson, and I find out that Chris may be around little more than I want him to be around. And I start to just I don't agree with this person being around my son, setting this example, not respecting me and my son in the way that I think we should. Like, as far as just, when you're around kids, you present yourself in a certain way, whether they can understand you or not. You treat people a certain way, whether you want to or not, because you're trying to set an example. Yeah. I didn't like his example. And I knew that if I let him continue to be around my son, as he got older and we continued to be roommates, that this would eventually rub off on my son in some negative way. Yeah. Am I saying I always had the best influences around my son? Absolutely not. I'm not saying that at all.
She just really didn't like my boyfriend.
I really didn't like him. I was like, this is not good for you. I really didn't.
I think that played a part into it too.
Huge. So I did not voice that. But what I did is I went and did what I needed to do, and Guy got everything set up for me. Yes, I had my plan in place for me and Kyson.
So much of a like, what the
and I didn't tell her. I didn't tell her one thing. I didn't even hint at it. Like, if I want to get this done, I need to do it, and I'm not going to let her know, because then it's going to be a thing, and then we have to talk about it, and it's going to be uncomfortable, and I don't want to get uncomfortable. So that was my perspective. I was looking out for my son, and obviously in the moment I had my feelings that were influencing this as well, my perspective of Chris. But the number one thing I kept thinking was, if you're trying to do better for your son, because I wasn't the best single mom, but if you are trying to move into a better place for your son, this is what I need to do in this moment. Yeah. Whether it seemed mature or not, like, that's what I felt I needed to do.
Neither one of us were mature enough in the moment to realize what was happening anyway.
Right. It was a mess, you guys. And so I moved right around the corner in my own apartment, and it was probably the worst experience. It was, I could not afford that apartment. I had to actually make the choice to completely withdraw from school so I could try to work full time to try and pay rent, and that didn't work either. So ultimately we ended up back in Salina with my mom, and I left school, dropped out. So it did not.
I didn't know about any of that. Yeah, well, I do now, but I didn't at the time. Again, we cut ties completely.
Yeah, completely. I actually got to a point where I assumed she would reach out. I assumed she would break down, reach out. Cause in my heart, I was like, we're too close. This isn't going to last,
Right.
But I will say, because of what the friendship was built on, it wasn't as strong as I thought it was. So I was waiting for her to reach out, and I wasn't going to reach out because I'm hard-headed, and I'm pretty sure I said some pretty mean things to her, some really cruel things that I shouldn't have said, out of anger.
Well, you did, but you also, I mean, there were good parts in our roommateship too. Being roommates, it wasn't all bad.
Right.
And we're making it sound like it was terrible.
Right. No,
it wasn't.
No.
Like, there was definitely like special moments, but rude things were said, of course. I don't remember any of them now.
I don't really either, but guys, unfortunately, when I say rude things,
a hot tongue.
Boy,
it just whips you.
It's bad. It's so bad. I'm not even bragging. It's horrible. So yeah.
But yeah, on my side of things, it was like, since I didn't know what was happening, I was left to my own assumptions.
Right.
And I assumed, like, to be real with you guys, I met Jesus that year. I was baptized. I was following, just very into my spiritual life. In a sense, I would say it grows every day or changes every day. Right. But I was a little baby Christian. And so I was really trying hard to like follow the rules and completely change what I was doing. And so I did. I poured myself into work. I worked at a Christian coffee shop and bookstore. So my new friends were the same, I don't know the right word, like perspective.
Right.
They had the same values that I did. And I would say that you weren't there yet.
No, not
you
at
were
all.
in a completely different headspace.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Which is totally fine. But in my mind, I'm like, okay, so she doesn't like that I'm a Christian and I'm not a party girl anymore. So that's what our friendship was based on. So obviously I didn't mean anything to you except for a good time.
Right. Which makes sense.
Yeah. Because I didn't know.
Yeah.
So that's where we were at. And then, so the breakup, the hiatus happened.
Yeah.
We did not speak a word
to
each other for 3 years.
Yeah. Which is crazy.
Yeah. I graduated college. You had a bunch of stuff happening in your life.
Yeah. But pause for a second, because I want to ask this question.
Okay, go ahead.
During the hiatus, during that time we're living our lives, did I cross your mind or reaching? I know it's hard for me to ask the question, honestly.
I honestly don't know, because I think I put a lot of walls up with you right when that happened, because it did blindside me so much that it was like a breakup to me. Like it was, this person has stuck by my side through thick and thin for, I'm gonna cry.
It's okay. That's what we do here.
For what was it, like 6 years at that time, and you were the longest lasting friendship that I had. I always felt way more close to you than I did anybody else.
Right.
And then like the rug was pulled out from under me. So it felt like a breakup, like a bad breakup. And so I had no, like, I think I went into like a self-preservation mode where I was just like, okay, this person doesn't want anything to do with me. So I guess I have to figure out how to do life without her.
Yeah.
And so if I did think of you, it was more, honestly, I think I blocked it out of my brain.
Right.
that
makes it. That makes
3
sense.
years of my life.
That really makes sense. Coming from like your perspective and what you're saying you felt in that makes perfect sense for you to block, which would make sense why you were so reluctant when I first reached out.
Yeah.
How I went about life, just so all the listeners know, after that hiatus happened, of course I was upset for a while, but this is how I know, and God has kind of revealed to me that Sheila was someone that was eventually going to be around again, because yes, was our friendship kind of based around drinking, partying, having a great time, living a carefree life. Yes, it was. But the love that I had for her, for you, I knew was so genuine, because I couldn't stop thinking about you. I could not stop thinking like, I need that friendship. Like, I can't do this. I can't do this anymore. Like, I've never built that type of bond that I didn't know I built until it was gone. I had no idea what kind of friendship we had until I didn't have it, literally. And so in my head, I'm like, I have to start. There was one point in my life where I started trying to rebuild my relationship with Christ. And even though it was a very slow journey, I did start within that hiatus time very slowly. And God was working on me in that moment, because that's the season of my life that God said, if you want that friendship, then let me show you how to get it back. It's going to be hard. It's going to be a lot of work. But if you want it, here you go. First, you need to ask for forgiveness and apologize. And that's what I did, is I reached out to her.
And I was
and
not
she
having
was
it.
not having it,
Nope.
boy. It was crushing my... I was like, this girl's going to do me like this.
Because I didn't know where it was. You wrote such a beautiful apology, and she reached out. And again, it had been 3 years of silence.
Yeah.
And you had reached out, and it was this long, beautiful, like, I'm so sorry I messed up. And I remember the day, and I was reading it, and I'm like, what in the heck is this woman thinking? Like, time does not heal all wounds, folks. But I remember sitting on my bed, and I'm like, I don't even know what to do. And I prayed, and I was just like, Lord, please help me with this. If I'm supposed to forgive her, like, I'll forgive her, but I don't forget, and we're not gonna be friends again. Like, and I came to that resolve. I was like, okay. And I think I told you that. I was like, all right, Nika, I accept your apology, but that doesn't mean anything. Like, it doesn't mean that we're gonna be besties again.
And I was like, yeah, right. No, that's not what I thought in that moment. In the moment, I was really disappointed, and it's not what I wanted out of that situation. But I did definitely make sure that consistency became my number one priority with her, which I've never done with any other. I will honestly say, if I go through all my friendships, I have never, ever had so much consistency in my life.
And pushing. And
holy boy, geez, my goodness.
So many. She knew what she wanted, and she did not stop.
Yeah, 100%.
Which I'm so thankful for.
Yeah.
I am so thankful for it, because I was still doing my own stuff. And we all live selfish lives when we really think about it. And so I had built this new life without you.
Right.
And I think part of that blocking out the whole hiatus was because I poured myself into the other relationships these new friendships that I was building. And I was just like, okay, well, this is how it's going to be now.
Right.
And so when you reached back out, I'm in this whole other place of my life. I have all these different friends. I believe I was starting a new job after college, and I was just like, new chapter of my life.
Right.
So when you reached out, I was just like, this is my past haunting me. What is happening? You know, I mean, that's harsh.
No.
But yeah, you pushed. I think you reached out a couple more times.
I did. Yeah. Not like, it wasn't super frequent.
No.
But yes, I did. I reached out a couple more times. I just remember thinking, just what God gave me was, if you want this friendship, it's going to be hard, but you need to listen to me. If you want my help, take the help.
Yeah.
So that's what I did. I started out slowly. I kind of eased my way into it, honestly.
Yeah. And then eventually, I do think God softened my heart toward you.
Absolutely.
Because eventually, I think you had asked if we could see each other or hang out in person somehow. And I said, okay.
Yep.
We can
Yes,
try.
she did.
And you guys want to know what happened in that moment? Do you remember? It was like a break. It was like, this is how I'm going to describe it. Maybe I'll tell a situation first.
I don't always remember things.
That's okay. I don't either. So I went to your house or your
apartment, right? Because we were in Wichita. Okay.
I was trying to be vague, but that's okay.
Oh, we were in Wichita, Kansas, and now we're in Salina.
So I went to your apartment, and we still hadn't talked a lot up to that moment. Like, you were trying to reach out. I think you were telling me things about your life, but I wasn't reciprocating. And so I was like, okay, let's hang out. We'll try it. Y'all, she opened the door to her apartment, and I was so nervous. She opened her door, and I just collapsed. I just fell into your arms and started sobbing.
Okay.
Oh my gosh.
Now I kind of
remember that.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, I miss you so much. And it felt like chains broke from my heart. And I was like, yes, that was the moment that I realized that our friendship was more than it was.
That does my heart good, because I was like, I know what this friendship has. I know the potential that's here. I know it. I believe in it. And I just need this girl to give me a little bit, just a little bit, so I can show her.
Yeah.
Okay. That's good. And then from there, I mean, even after that, I will say this, guys, even after we connected and we decided that, okay, maybe we can slowly, with caution, try to rebuild something. I use this thing called Marco Polo. Highly recommend it. Highly.
I do too. Yeah.
Now she does.
No, I recommend it now. And yes,
now she recommends it.
We didn't Marco Polo back then.
You're right. But at one point when I wanted, so Sheila didn't always live in Kansas. She lived in Utah. We're not going to say the exact city.
I lived all over Utah.
She lived all over Utah. So of course there, long distance, all that stuff. But once Sheila was not in Utah and she came back to Kansas, which is so exciting, not very far from where I am, I started using Marco Polo or introducing it to her anyway.
You started sending me voice texts, like long voice text. audio text. What are they called?
Yeah. Audio messages.
Voice memos. Yeah.
Yeah.
Long. And I'm a very busy person in general. I like not to.
Sorry. The way you said it, you're like,
this has a point.
Busy.
I'm a very, and up until that point, I treated my phone, we're all always on our phones, but up until that point, I treated my phone and like messages as something I would get to eventually.
Okay.
And so when I would see that Nika sent me this voice memo, I'm like, this is going to be a
10 minutes,
20-minute long.
Oh, 10, never 20. She's lying.
Not anymore.
She's lying.
Whatever.
Stop. 10, you guys.
Back then, maybe 10, but
me.
now it's like an hour, so it's fine. Anyway, and I would be like, I just don't have time to listen to this. This girl wants to talk my ear off. Like, I don't have time. And looking back, and now that I'm this way too, you've morphed me into this person. I'm like, just listen whenever you have time. And you were so gracious with it. You were very encouraging. And I would tell you, I'm so sorry. It's been a week and I've just now got back to you. And you had so much grace toward it. You're just like, it's fine. Like, I know you're busy. I'm busy too. And get back to me when you can, and I will say that helped a lot. It took the pressure off of, I'm so sorry, I'm a bad friend.
Right. Which is the total wrong assumption.
But that's, so Nika kept sending me these voice memos even when I wouldn't send voice memos back, and
consistency
all the time.
Even if your friend isn't consistent, if you need to be, don't stop being consistent.
Because I don't think I sent you a voice text until like way later. Like I would just text you back. Oh, cool. Thanks for the update. I wouldn't give a whole lot, but I cared about you. And it wasn't like the rough history of our past wasn't there, but we were still not to a great friendship yet. Yeah,
we definitely had to rebuild like because it's not the same connection. It's not the same as it was.
The same people.
Right. So it's like you are rebuilding. It's not like it was just like poof, bam.
Start or get back to where you left off. That whole saying, like you just pick up where you left off. That was not the situation.
I can be false in some situations for sure.
Yeah.
And then Marco Polo came in.
Yes, then Marco
Polo. As
you
can see, my memory is a little more lax than hers. So then I start using Marco Polo, and I am messaging this girl and trying to encourage her to message me back. She didn't want to. Boy, she did not want to. There were some days I was like, is she gonna message me back? Dang. But anyways, she did not like Marco Polo like I did. And I definitely did not back down though. No. And so now she's addicted to Marco Polo. That's how we talk every day. Literally. In the morning, in the afternoon, in the evening.
Sometimes more than others.
Probably. We don't need to admit that.
But it's great because it feels like we're doing life together, even though we're a little bit farther apart,
Yeah, absolutely. So anyway,
but the biggest part, I mean, that's all just communication and consistency, which is great because she was not
consistent. The whole point of that was she was not consistent, nor did she want to at that time see the need to give me that time and energy, which is fine. That's fine because all I was worried about was the time and energy. When I was doing this, I was not doing this for you. I was doing this for God. Because he's the one that let me know if you want this, you need to do this.
Yeah.
So for once I was trying to be consistent. Yes, I wanted the friendship. That's the end goal. Right. But the number one reason I'm like, God gets the glory at the end of this. Absolutely. God gets the glory of what this is now.
Absolutely. So, gosh, we couldn't have a friendship without God. Oh my gosh. So going into the now, that brings us to the current. We
are older
and wiser.
and smarter.
Well, that's the same thing.
And that's fine. It's the only word I could think of.
But I would say our friendship now is my favorite. Like,
absolutely.
It is so, there's probably at least a couple times a week that I just pause and I'm like, thank you, Lord, for this friendship, because holy cow, what was I doing without it?
Yeah,
it's
absolutely
nuts.
And I think our friendship has, not that it just happened and it's just this, you put in work for it to be how this is, but I love how it continually is changing. So we're continually growing as friends, and that's beautiful too. I would say, obviously, this would not be here, and we have to give the recognition and the glory to God. And we both do, because it wouldn't be here if he was not a part of our lives.
We couldn't handle each other.
There's no way.
If
I'd kick her in the face.
I'll
kick her in the face, man.
I would get so offended, I think.
Yeah, you would cry a lot.
Yeah, in a bad way, not a good way.
Yeah.
I do cry a lot in a good way.
Oh.
Obviously. I'm like tearing up over here just talking about things. But yes, so our friendship now, I would say, is it's like unconditional love.
Yeah.
But a little bit with conditions.
Yeah, absolutely. We're human.
We're human. Like, I love you. I don't judge you. I don't, I know who you are to the core. I know your values and, what you believe in, your morals, all the things.
Right.
And so even if you have an off day, I know that that's just normal. Like, it's okay, because you're human.
Right.
And it doesn't change who you are in the sight of God.
Right.
Or with me.
Right.
And,
right.
So, and the same, I'm guessing.
Yes, I would agree. Okay. I do concur.
Yes. So, man, I'm just watering. Holy cow.
Fine.
It's fine.
I'm like sitting over here all happy, like
I'm just so bawling. No,
you like the dynamic?
I'm the sensitive one, if you can't tell.
I'm sensitive.
You are.
I'm sensitive.
Yeah. Okay. Well, so all that being said, I lost my train of thought now.
So we're talking about how even on the bad days, it's not going to change.
Yeah. I love you no matter what. And there's conditions to our unconditional love.
Absolutely.
The condition is we are both rooted in the same values.
Right.
And we both know each other's character to the core.
Right.
And without that condition or those conditions, that's where it would fall apart.
Absolutely.
So,
absolutely.
Because you can call me out on my
I try to keep her account. We both keep each other accountable. Yeah. She's getting better at being more vocal towards me about being accountable.
And that comes with safety.
Right. Right.
Like, I feel safe in our friendship. So I feel like I can tell you those things.
Right.
And you hold me accountable and give me sometimes blunt honesty. She doesn't put the sugar on it as much anymore.
I don't want to sprinkle sugar on it.
Which is fine.
I have too many friends I have to sprinkle sugar with. I'm like,
so she just gets to relax and just tell me how it is. And I can take it because I know that she means it in love.
Right. Yeah.
And I know that you're not telling me those things to be hateful or judgmental or anything like that, even though it still stinks. And I tell you that. I'm like, man, that rubs up against my flesh.
I won't hear Marco for a good hour.
No.
20 minutes.
Yes, there we go.
And she'll be like, I had to take a beat. I'm like, okay. Sorry.
Breathe through that one.
But yeah, well, I'm glad that I'm glad that you do realize that it is coming from a place of love.
Absolutely.
And sometimes I take a beat and I make sure to reassure her that it's coming from a place of love.
Yeah.
Because my tongue, man, sometimes
but it's for the better. It's always for the better, because you always make me see things from a different perspective that I didn't realize to start with, or you encourage me to take action where I didn't want to take action before. Right. So it turns our relationship from a venting session, from gossip, from
venting, gossiping,
all of that things, where it takes it from a superficial level to all right, what are you going to do about it now?
Yeah.
And let me encourage you to do it differently than what you're thinking, or
right. Absolutely.
That kind of thing. And I value that so much, because a lot of friends, they just hear each other out and they're just yes guys, and they're I'll support you no matter what. I'm always on your team. But for them, that means I'm always going to be mad at who you're mad at. Yep. I'm always going to see that you're in the right in every situation. And that's just not true. That's not reality.
Yeah, not at all.
And
been there. Yeah. I've been there.
And I have friends like that too. And so that's kind of like, we're telling you this story because as you can tell, we've been through all sorts of stages of our friendship, and I don't
Definitely.
like it's okay to have those other stages.
Right. I feel like if you don't go through those stages, you're not going to get to the ultimate goal.
Yeah.
Which, I mean, we are going to kind of go over like certain stages and types of friendships, and we have been through every type.
Yeah.
This friendship has gone through each type.
And we both have friendships in our lives
that are currently these types.
And I think a mixture of all of them is fine. Like they're
Yes.
not good or bad.
Right.
But I do feel like to get to the ultimate goal is what
Right.
we're calling it. Like our friendship, I feel like grows every day, of course.
Every day.
But our type of friendship is the value, like not the valuable, because they're all valuable.
They're all valuable in their own way. I just think that this type of friendship that we have finally been able to step into adds more value than some other friendships add value. Like some of my friendships, I love them all.
Yeah,
I do love them.
It doesn't decrease the love at all.
Right, at all. But some of them don't add value to my life. They don't add the value that I need it to add to my life. Yes, they show me love and support, and they are yes mans.
Yeah.
And sometimes I need a yes man.
Yeah.
But there's other things I need in order to grow as a person and in my life that those other friendships just don't give to me. And that's fine.
That's fine.
Because they're not meant to. Like if they were meant to, we would be there.
Right.
But right now that's just not.
Well, and it's not on us to understand why those things are in our lives or why those relationships are the way that they are.
Right.
It's for us to be obedient, like you were obedient with our friendship.
Yep. I think I'm very clear on which friendships need more of my time and my energy. And so I do prioritize my friendships.
Yeah.
I really do. But that doesn't mean I love them any less.
Right.
I tell all my friends all the time, I love everybody, all my friends for where they are in their life, whether I agree with where they're at or not. I will always love them for where they're at, and I will always support them as I can. But sometimes they don't get the time and energy, the same type of
like boundaries need to be set.
Yeah, there's definitely has to be boundaries for sure.
Well, and I think the point of why it's important to have that ultimate goal friendship is because we are called to do life together. We are called to community, and we are called to support each other, of course. But this life is not meant to be lived superficially. It is meant to be lived deep, because we go through hard things, and we can't do hard things by ourselves, so part of that community has to have wise counsel when you're going through a hard time, when you have a question about your life, when you're in a fork in the there's a fork in the road.
There's a fork in the road.
There we go.
When you have a fork in the drawer. Great. Oh, okay, sorry. We got to laugh, y'all.
When you have a fork in the drawer, you need those friends to give you wise counsel on which direction to take.
Right.
And that you can ask all of your friends at all the levels what you should do. However, it gets to the point when you're like, actually, I feel safe in this friendship. I trust this person. I know it comes back to the morals and character and all of that you align with that person so much that you're going to take their advice over everybody else's.
Yeah. And
I think that's how it filters out, like how you communicate, what boundaries need to happen.
That's really good. Yeah. I like that.
That kind of
never thought about that really.
Well, you're welcome.
That's good. She's always teaching me stuff. She's the intelligent one of the friendship. She's super intelligent. She's a researcher.
I am a researcher.
I'm not.
No, but you abide by the spirit a lot more than I do.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, no, that's not what I meant. That's not what I meant. That sounds so bad.
No, but
that sounds so bad.
You're wise because you're obedient in what Christ tells you to do, or like you're obedient in seeking the Lord.
Right.
And I do that.
She seeks the Lord.
Yes.
She seeks research too.
Exactly. Like my brain just wants to know more about what
okay.
everybody else
God made science.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
Okay. So let's jump into the types of friendships so they know when we talk about types, what are we talking about?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
So if we all want to take a journey back to like high school days.
I feel like we need some music right there.
Is that better? That was good. Great. So in high school, like all your friendships are probably going to be this way. Like
yes.
The good time friendships.
Good times.
You know,
like
you don't
times.
know any better, is it?
Let the good times roll.
Oh, yeah. I'm sorry, you didn't sing all of it.
Well, I don't know the tune really. I just know the word.
You expect me to know it.
Gosh, it's getting hostile.
Um,
But yes,
yeah,
the good times, like just a good time. That's how we were.
Yeah.
A good time. That's what.
and you hang out often.
Yeah. If we were doing anything, we were preparing to have a real good time.
Yeah. And you think about high school friendships, you're together a lot.
Yep.
But it's not, you don't really do anything.
Right.
Like you're having a good time doing
Right.
nothing together.
Right.
Or doing,
all the things
together. But it's not like you're having these long, deep conversations and confiding
it's very
in each
surface
other.
level. This is a surface level type of friendship.
Yeah. And it's not a bad thing.
No.
Yeah.
Not at all. I have very many surface level friendships and I'm very happy with them.
Yeah.
And I would not trade them for the world.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. So that's the one type.
This next one, I had no idea what this word meant, y'all. So 5 points for any listener that knows what this word means.
Anybody know what a hanging chad is?
And pause. Hanging chad.
She didn't know what a hanging chad is. Maybe I'm an old person, but
do you guys know the chad?
The chad is great.
Thank you. Okay. Hanging chad.
The hanging chad. It's like the little paper things. Like if you hole punch a bunch of papers and the paper from the hole punch doesn't rip off all the way. It's called a hanging chad.
It's called a hanging chad. I have no idea.
So the reason I call them hanging chad friends is because they've been around a long time. They've managed to hold on. They've
barely.
They've managed to hold on in your friendship group, but you don't always know exactly why.
Right. Ooh.
Like they're just,
that's good.
But you don't discount them as a friend.
Right. And I want everyone that's listening to be clear. We are not discounting any type of friendship.
They're all valuable.
So do not go to the friend that you guys have only had a surface level friendship for 19 years and tell them it's over. Please don't. They're very valuable and important to your life. Okay.
I would agree and disagree with that.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. Can we talk about it for a second?
Okay. To a certain extent.
Because it does come to a point in your life where kind of the whole point of this conversation is you have to look inward and say, all right, if I'm becoming like the what is that saying? You
attract, I was going to say you attract what you are or what you want. I don't know. I give up.
So mine was you become like the top 5% of people you surround yourself with. Whatever that percentage is. I don't know if it's 5, but you become like the people you are most around. Is the point. And so when you have those people who you're giving more time and energy to than necessary in that stage of life, like what we were talking about with boundaries, and you become like them and that's not aiding in your growth.
That's true.
Then it's time to place it.
But I'll say this to defend what I said. That's very true in that light. What I was trying to say is if that friendship is not having that effect and it's good, all good, right where it is, and nothing is going wrong on that side of things, then don't go end it today.
Well,
please
even
don't.
if you do decide that more boundaries need to be set, it does not make it any less valuable.
Right.
That's all of these are still valuable in one way or another. So
decent friends.
Yeah. Decent friends. They're the ones that you hang out with them often. You love them. It's kind of the same with the good time only, but
there's probably a little more depth there.
Yeah. Like you do share your life with them more. It's not just about going out and having a good time. Those are the people that are a little bit closer to you, but not people that you would seek wise counsel.
Right. Oh, she's good at this.
Yeah.
I like that. Yeah, that was perfect.
Okay. I would say probably most people's friends are the decent friends.
Absolutely.
Yeah, that's where most of them are.
I would agree, which is great.
Great thing.
We're going to keep saying that so you guys understand.
Don't be offended.
There's nothing bad about this conversation.
Nope. There's not. Because you can take those decent friends and when God calls you, you obey and you make them your ultimate friends, your tribe.
Your tribe.
Yeah. So I would say Nika and I have been all of those.
Absolutely.
all of those friends together.
Absolutely.
To each other.
Which is crazy.
Yeah.
It's weird.
And even, I mean, most recently, of course, we were the decent friends.
Yeah.
And then with Nika's consistency and God softening my heart more and more towards you.
Yeah.
Letting you in a little bit more. We have
created a tribe friendship.
Oh yeah. You're my tribe girl.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. That's no, we're not rating these, but that is, I'm like, wait a minute, we're not rating these. All of those other types are so, so important. And I'm not discounting them, but ultimate goal, like our personal ultimate goal as friendships, as friends, is to be on that tribe level.
Yeah.
You know,
and we should
encourage.
We should encourage more of our friends
Absolutely
to be in that tribe too.
Right.
Because if we're becoming like the people we're hanging out with most, don't you want those people to be people you feel safe with, that you trust, that you respect? But
let's be clear, not all of those people will be willing to go to the to the ultimate goal.
Yeah.
Because I'm not going to say, okay, say this.
Take a beat.
Not everybody is going to be able to go to that tribe level of friendship, I feel like, because there's other things that have to happen within. Like one of my examples is I'm a very honest person now in my life. Now, I have not always been an honest person, but anybody that can't understand where my honesty comes from, like she touched on earlier, there's no way we can build any time. We can't get to the ultimate level because you're always offended by what I say, or you think it's coming from a place of hate when really it's coming from a place of love and where I want you to grow, because I've been through it. Like and
even if you haven't,
well, it's
because
true.
You know that person's character and you're like, this isn't who you are.
Right.
This isn't who
I'm just trying to keep you accountable because I love you.
I feel like true friendship holds people accountable.
Right. Absolutely.
We're not going to let you get by with doing the least when you're meant to do the most.
Right. Absolutely. That was good. I like that.
Thank you.
I like that a lot. Yes. So we're definitely this is one of my tribes. One of my tribes? That sounds weird.
I know.
This is a tribe friendship. Definitely.
Yes.
Definitely.
I would agree. Yeah. So trying to read my notes. I think that says advice. Yeah. I think we talked about that. Yeah.
Taking advice, being able to take advice.
I think on also both sides too. Like you don't just tell me what to do all the time.
Right. No, absolutely not.
And I don't just take it all the time.
Either. Absolutely not. She sure does not. And and this is the one thing that Sheila kind of helps me sometimes, because sometimes I'll only know a little bit about something and I'm quick to give you my 2 cents. You will get it whether I understand the whole story or not. Right. I will go based off of what I know.
Very opinionated.
Not
a bad thing.
Comes from a place of love.
Yes.
And then what Sheila will do is she'll say, well, actually, you don't even know the whole thing. Here's the rest of it.
Yeah.
And I'm like, whoa, hold on. My perspective that I just gave you was all wrong. Let me change that. Like push that back. So I like that she is able to, because sometimes I'm quick to jump and I'm quick to assume sometimes or put my perspective out there. So when she does give me that full, like, hold on, you need to know the whole story for you to understand.
Yeah.
That's nice for me, because sometimes I'm like, holy, I should have hit the brakes.
Well, yeah, but it's a partnership. Like it's not just like a dictatorship. You're not the leader of this pack.
Right.
Pack. Yeah. We are equals.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, you give me advice, I give you advice. We choose what to do with that on our own.
Yeah. Sometimes we get a little sassy.
We do.
Sometimes I respond and I'm like, oh, that was sassy, because I didn't like what you just said. So I was a little sassy.
Yeah. But that's okay. It's okay not to like that's the point, is to be able to share hard things with each other and to say hard things to each other. So going from a place of back when we were in college, not being willing to have those hard conversations at all, not even bringing up, hey, I don't like your boyfriend.
Right.
Or I don't like that you're gone all the time.
Yeah.
Whatever it was. Mm-hmm. We weren't willing at the beginning. We weren't willing at the beginning to have those hard conversations now. It's like every day. Hard
conversations are great.
Yes,
I love uncomfortable conversations.
They're so really productive.
Do. Yeah. They're the best.
Yeah.
Get on my level. I'm just kidding.
But
okay, so do you have any I've shared a lot of my friends' examples. Do you have any example? Do you have any of these categories, types of friendships in your life right now?
Absolutely. Yeah. I would say as I've gotten older, I have a smaller circle.
Okay. Yeah, me too.
Yeah. Because I don't live that same good times only life.
Right.
So, but I do still have good time only friends.
Me too.
That I just don't see as often. And it doesn't mean I love them any less.
Yep.
It just means that they're not part of my day to day.
Right.
So I do have those. We do girls' nights together, go to those art classes downtown, those types of things. And it's great. And I love hanging out with those people.
Right.
Male and female, I would say too.
I don't have
I think
a lot of friends.
A lot of my male friends are like the very distant friendships.
I don't think, never mind. Shout out to Caesar. I do have Caesar. He is a male friend. He's a very distant, he lives very far away, but he is okay. I have one.
There you go.
That's funny. I used to have men friends all the time.
Your values change. Your life changes.
Yeah, I got a ring on it.
Yeah.
No, I'm just kidding.
Not why I have joking. Male friends.
I'm just joking.
Okay. But yeah, I have all of them. But yeah, my circle is much smaller as I've gotten older and gotten wiser about who I want to keep around.
Yeah.
Because it does, for me, it just comes down to that. You become who you're most around. Yeah. And I've seen that in the last, I don't know, 6 years, especially, I would say. Like living in Utah, doing my own thing. I had a variety of friendships and they led me toward different paths. And I just was around for them.
Right.
So the things that I did was directly related to the people I was hanging out with.
That
and
makes sense.
I'm a completely different person than who I was in Utah, for good and bad.
Right.
And, that's kind of how it goes.
Yeah, absolutely. But I love
that. I don't want to, I don't know, not to button it up. I don't know if you've got any other thoughts.
I don't think so.
I think we pretty much ran the gamut.
Yeah, I think
basically the importance, we've kind of talked about the importance of all this. But the importance of it is that ultimately your tribe is what's going to hold you up.
Right.
Your tribe is what's going to keep you going in those hard times. If Nika had a better tribe, or if we were in the space that we're in today and you suffered a really hard loss, that experience for you would be completely different because you have people in place now that will hold you up when you're down.
Right.
Not just cheer you up when you're down.
Right.
Not just try to, make your day better.
Yeah.
But will step in and do the hard stuff. They'll be your foundation when you have nothing left,
Right.
And so for me, if you guys didn't learn anything from this podcast, I hope that you try to look inward and figure out what it means to be a good friend, who you are as a friend, what you offer to your friends and what they offer to you. And of course, with the lens that they're all valuable for different stages of your life or different moments, whatever. But looking inward and trying to create the foundation, that tribe that you need to go through the hard stuff, because friends are not for good times only.
Right. Absolutely not.
Yeah.
Absolutely not. I agree. I would say if I'm going to give a piece of encouragement, which I mean, you already touched on most of it, but one of my biggest things that I will still stand true, and I'm not saying, Sheila touched on it earlier, if you're with friends that are on a different level in a different season of life, and you are not in that same season or that level, and you notice that because you do give so much time and energy to them that it is rubbing off on you and you are backtracking in your life, I don't encourage you to keep going that route because that's not healthy or good for anybody. We all want to grow. We all want to progress. We all want to reach the ultimate goal, whatever that is for you.
Whether you realize it or not, because I don't think a lot of people realize that they want that.
And that all depends on the season of life that you're in, because there's things I didn't realize I wanted that I now have that I'm like, yeah, boy.
Yeah, exactly.
So my biggest piece of encouragement, obviously, take into account what I just said. I will always encourage people, your friends that you do have, no matter what category you're in right now, what type of friendship it is, please strive to love them for where they are at in their life, regardless of if you agree with it. Just because you don't agree doesn't mean that you should dismiss them or the love you have for them. I'm just encouraging that unconditional love, because that's what it turns into.
Yeah.
When you can look past like, oh, I don't like the decision she's making. Oh, I don't like, you can't control that.
Yeah. And they're not always going to take your advice.
Yeah.
So you can't just be lecturing them all the time.
Absolutely not. They don't need that. Maybe there's going to be a point in their life where they do need that and they are willing to listen to it. But if they're not, then leave that alone, And I'm not saying that, that can't ever change, because it can. They could come to a point where you guys are on the same level. You're in the same seat. We're here. Like we're living that. Yeah. It all can align. Sometimes it won't. But just because it doesn't mean that they don't deserve that love, that unconditional love. But you set your boundaries. Set the boundaries and be okay with the boundaries.
Set your boundaries for yourself. But then like for you, also, I feel like you are very good at like what you're just saying. You're very good at understanding where that other person is and what's going to be beneficial for them from you. And what's not. Yeah. So you're not going to waste
I'm not going to waste my time.
Yeah. Or your time on things that person is not ready to hear. There, that it's going to fall, like wise words fall on barren ground. Yep. That type of thing. So with those friendships, love them. Yeah. But just know that you don't have to control their lives. You're not in charge of their destiny. You're not in charge of anything that they do. You're there to support and show them that there is somebody who cares. Right.
They need that. People need people. Yeah. People need people, no matter what season or level that you're on in your friendships, whatever it is. People need people.
Yeah. And they can morph all the time. So
all the time. Yeah. It's crazy. And I would encourage, I almost didn't say this. I know that not everybody believes in something different. Everybody has a different belief. And I'm not here to knock that. I'm not here to preach to you, and I'm not here to convert you. What I am here to say is, I love Jesus.
Me too.
I love me some Jesus. And so does Sheila. He's the foundation of our lives and our friendship. So I do encourage you that if you are kind of going through life in these friendships and you don't have a foundation that's set on something higher than yourselves, I encourage you to find something higher to hold on to, whether that be God or whoever it is for you. But I really encourage that, because I'm not saying that it won't last, but it won't be the experience it could be. Yeah. It won't be as beautiful as it could be.
But it still could serve a purpose too.
Yeah, absolutely.
But I agree with you. Like the foundation is necessary, because who you are as a person now and who I know you to be now, like baseline character, is a direct reflection of your relationship with God.
Right. Absolutely.
And it's beautiful. Yeah. And so that helps me as part of your tribe know when you're acting outside of that character, and gives me that authority, not authority, but just like that opportunity.
That right. I feel like it's a right. Yeah. Like you've earned that right in this friendship.
Say, hey, yeah, you're talking some mess.
I do be talking that mess sometimes, y'all.
You take a step
but I like that it's so apparent. I love that part of it when you do have that foundation and it's so apparent that this person is acting completely out of their character. Mm-hmm. It's so nice though, because you're like, oh, this is very obvious. I know this. Yeah. I know how to respond to this.
Yeah. And then on the flip side, it's also, since that is established, many times you're very good at this. I feel like we both do it. No, you are very good at it, but I'm like, am I good at it? I just had a realization for myself. Am I good at it? I think I'm okay at it. We're good at knowing when there has been growth too, and recognizing the growth. And that's not something that I have in other friendships. I will say that in all my other levels of friendships, I don't have that, like that recognition of, Sheila, I know you've been this one way for a while and you've been struggling with this one thing. And I just recognize that you're doing something different, or something has changed. And that, my goodness, is so valuable. Yeah. It's so nice to hear and be recognized.
I think it's important, because I don't always recognize where I'm growing. Yeah. Because to me, it's like really, what's that, minuscule sometimes that I just don't. And I don't. So it's nice to have that recognition coming from somebody. It is nice. It feels great.
Yeah. Or when you think that, oh, well, I'm just doing what I feel like I should do all the time.
Right.
But you don't realize yourself, that what you think you should do in this moment would have been different a week ago or a month ago.
Right. Absolutely.
So
yeah, I love that.
I will say that's really valuable in this level of friendship.
Absolutely.
So
yeah, that was good. It's a good talk. I just think hopefully all of you got something from this episode. Like I said, we wanted to walk through our experience as friends, and then also just touch on, some people don't even realize, I did not realize until Sheila brought it to my attention, the many types of friendships. I honestly have never sat down and thought about that. Honestly, I really have not.
Well, it's not that important. Just
no, but it's nice to it is nice to see different categories, I guess you could say, or types of friendships, and understand like how they all are different, how they add value, how they don't add value.
Right.
I mean,
how much time you give them, how much time you don't. And instantly when we talk about all those levels or types of friendships, I know that everybody's thinking, oh, that person is this type of friendship.
Yep.
But I don't know that labeling it.
Yeah. Like you don't need to label it.
You don't need to label it.
That's not the point of this episode. You don't need to label but it's okay to have the awareness.
Yeah. And to say that there is a progression.
Right.
And I would say that if you want to keep people in your life, or you feel like they do add a lot of value and they're currently sitting at a decent friendship and not a tribe friendship, then do what Nika did and be consistent and push. Even if it's awkward, or even if it's uncomfortable, or you feel like, I'm always the one reaching out and that person just is not reciprocating.
Right.
It's still worth it.
If the friendship is meant to grow into a tribe friendship, they will, even if they don't reciprocate it in the beginning, because of your consistency, your obedience, your love, it will eventually, it will evolve into that. It will. It's not fast and it's not easy.
And it takes a lot of putting down your pride.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. You got to throw that pride away, honey. It is so ugly. It is ugly. Don't wear it.
Yeah. But I mean, that's really an admirable thing that you did, like throughout our whole friendship.
Yeah.
Well, the last half of our friendship.
Right.
When we both finally found Jesus.
Right.
That is one of the things, like, we would not be the friends that we are today if you didn't put down your pride and just push and be consistent. Because I know a lot of people, I know this keeps going on and on, but
it's okay.
I know
we have time.
A lot of people who will give up on friendships because you used to be close.
Right.
And you, for me, I have examples where when I lived in Utah, I had certain friends, and whether I moved cities or I moved states, those friendships would change immediately. And I would get this sense of, if I want to hang out with this person, I have to be the one reaching out. And do they even care about me? If they cared about me, they would respond, or they would reach out before I do, or, whatever that is. And I know that every single one of you guys listening have those experiences and friends that you just feel like you're the one doing all the work.
Yeah.
But in reality, those friendships, I don't love them any less.
Right.
I don't talk to a lot of those people anymore, because we're in different stages of our life, and my circle is different, and that has a little bit to do with location too.
Right.
But if one of those people were to call me up today, I would not skip a beat, and I would answer the phone, and we'd have a great conversation.
Absolutely.
But the difference is I gave up on those relationships too. I was just like, okay, well, we've come to a point where you don't want to put in the work, and I'm tired of putting in the work, so I'm going to give up on you, but like, no harm, no foul.
Right.
And I didn't push to have those relationships grow further. And so that's why I'm just like honing in on that beat, because I know a lot of people get discouraged when it's one-sided a lot of the time.
Yeah,
and
absolutely.
Our friendship was one-sided a lot of the time for years.
Yeah. I lost a pretty close longtime friend because that's what I felt like was happening. Was I was giving, going, trying to do it all, but there was no reciprocation. Her perspective is different of the situation. That's my perspective. And so I did the same thing. Eventually I said, forget it.
Yeah.
Because I can't do this anymore. Yeah. So I've been there, and that's a good point, because I also have experienced friendships where people are like, why do you why do you keep doing for this person? Why do you keep picking up the phone? Why do you go do this? Why do you put in the time and energy?
Mhm.
And all I say, and I say it again, is I love that person, these people, for where they're at in their lives, but they need a me.
Yes,
whether
absolutely.
it's once a year or whether 6 years, the time frame doesn't even matter, but they need a me. Because if they didn't need a me, I wouldn't feel that urge to be there.
Yeah.
There's a reason I feel that on my heart to be there, because God is saying they need a you.
Yeah.
Because the people that don't need a me, God has made very clear, pump your brakes. We're not going there.
Yeah. I think that's an important distinction, because I feel like a part of this talk has been you can keep all your friends all the time.
Right.
And that's not true. That's not realistic.
No.
You're not going to be the same. You're not going to have the same friends throughout your entire life. And that's okay.
Yep.
So you are very wise in discerning the difference between the two, like being in tune with your feelings on it. And
you definitely have to realize, for me, because I do love me some Jesus. I'm going to say it again. I am able to discern what's coming, what is God putting on my heart, and what is that selfish feeling of me saying, no, I have, putting that obligation on me.
Yeah.
I'm not going to listen to that obligation that I'm putting on myself. I'm going to listen to God putting it on my heart, saying, no, Nika, this person needs you. I need you to be there for that person. You're not done here. Like, I'm not done here. But if God ever said and put on my heart, we're done here, and made it very clear, I would be done there. Doesn't mean I don't love them. Doesn't mean I wouldn't pick up the phone. But the type of energy I give and the time I give, I would be done there, because it's that time, and that time does come.
Yeah.
And it's uncomfortable and it's sad, but I try to encourage people, like, there's going to be some growth taking place.
Yeah.
Where those hard, uncomfortable changes happen, the growth is beautiful.
Yeah.
It's beautiful. So I try not to hinder my growth in that way.
Yeah.
But it's hard.
Well, like, think back through all of your friendships.
Yeah.
Through the dawn of time.
Yeah. Oh, God.
You've had a lot, right?
Oh.
Do you have any hate toward any of those friendships? Okay, filter out all of the really toxic ones, okay?
Yeah.
But all of the good, at one time they were super good friendships, not toxic, all the things. Do you have any hate toward those people?
Not anymore. But the only reason I don't have hate is because I have Jesus.
Oh, okay.
If I didn't,
that's probably true, actually.
Honestly, I would have those hateful feelings still if I wasn't where I am spiritually today. There's no way I would be able to say to you that I don't have those hateful feelings.
Yeah.
They would be there. They would 100% probably be there for certain people. But no, at this point in my life, I do not. I do not at all.
I was thinking that I see these Facebook posts popping up randomly that say, if you've ever been my friend, you're still my friend.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
And like, I agree and disagree at the same time.
Yeah, I don't completely agree.
Yeah. Because if you've ever been my friend, excuse me, if you've ever been my friend, I do still have some sort of love for you, because there was a time in my life where you were very important to me.
You were part of my journey.
Yeah, exactly. You were a part of my journey. I love that. But we're not friends anymore, and I don't have any interest in becoming better friends, because if that was meant to be it, the stepping stones would be there to make it happen. But I don't want to harbor any bad feelings toward anybody for any reason.
It's not worth it.
Yeah.
It's not worth it.
So.
I had that's one of my weaknesses, or has been in the past, is harboring and holding on to that. That's always been a struggle of mine, but it's just not worth it. It affects you more than it affects that other person sometimes.
Well, yeah. And the situations we've talked about it in multiple situations, but just leaning off of ours, for example, like, we had completely different ideas of what happened. Like, I didn't know your version of what happened to our friendship until last year.
Yeah.
That's
I know.
crazy.
I remember telling her, and she's like, what?
Yeah.
I'm like, don't act like
she was like,
surprised.
Why do you think our friendship failed?
Heck?
I was like, I just had no idea. No clue.
And I had no idea that she had no idea.
Yeah.
But why would I assume that she didn't when I didn't say nothing?
Yeah.
I didn't say anything.
I
it's
feel
so
like
funny.
a lot of people,
It's
like,
so funny.
I forgot to talk about that earlier, but yeah, a lot of people we live in a selfish world.
Right.
I will keep saying that. Even if you think you're the most selfless person,
you're not, honey.
You're not. And
sorry.
It's just human nature.
Mm-hmm.
And it's something we have to fight against all the time.
Yeah.
Yes.
Work on it.
And part of that fighting against your selfish nature is to be more empathetic, to see things from other people's side more often. Because that statement you just said, recognizing that, why should I have those expectations for Sheila when I never told her what I was thinking? Mm-hmm. That was not there, 10 years ago or whatever, whenever it actually happened.
Yep.
So we need to, this is my encouragement. We have lots of encouragements, but like part of that, taking a look inward and seeing and evaluating where you're at as you, as a friend, and who your friends are. Also evaluate how you treat your friends, how you, like, what's your default setting? Is your default setting, oh, this person made me mad, and how dare they say that to me, and or how dare they not come to my party, or whatever it is, how dare they cancel? We've been through that a lot. When you have no idea what that other person is going through, and you probably don't care to ask either. You're just gonna jump to conclusions and do the most. And
that would be me. Hey, I'll be doing the most over here. Oh, no. I had my own plan. I was like, see ya. Yeah. Boy.
Yeah. I feel like you have to have some empathy, a lot of empathy actually, and grace.
Yeah, absolutely.
Not everybody
agree
has that.
That's
by default.
By default, right?
Yeah.
By default. It also takes so long for that to eventually become your default.
Yeah. Yeah, it's true.
Yeah. All right. Well, I think that we put all our 2 cents in that.
Yep.
I hope you guys got something from it. I hope you were encouraged in some way. Again, we weren't here to discount any type of friendship.
Yeah. Or lecture you
or preach. We're just having a good conversation between 2 friends that have been through it. Yes. And we'll continue to go through some stuff, but at least it will be in unity. So I think that's the beautiful part of it. So anyways, we just wanted to share our experience, encourage you guys, share our love with you guys. And I can't wait to do the next episode. I was so excited to have Sheila here today in person. It's weird having someone in person. I've never done this. We're just looking at each other.
We're bumping knees over here.
Yeah, we are rubbing knees quite often. But anyways, thank you guys so much. And we will talk to you soon. Love you guys.
Bye, guys.